Welcome to the Drag Me to the Movies podcast. I'm Ned.
And I'm Joe.
In this episode, we're going to be talking about Good Will Hunting from 1997. Directed by Gus Van Sant and stars Robin Williams, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Stellan Skarsgård, and Minnie Driver. So, Joe, what did you think of Good Will Hunting?
Well, let's start with the name of the film.
Okay.
I've heard of the film before, and I never knew what Good Will Hunting meant. Like, were they hunting Goodwills?
Okay. Yeah.
Was somebody named Will good at hunting? But it turns out that it's talking about somebody named Will Hunting who's good.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's neat. the I guess the title where I'm going is the title was confusing to me for a
Okay.
while of
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
what were they trying to say there?
And that mystery
But
has been solved.
it has because I watched the movie.
About time.
So yeah, so first thing I want to call out about this film is that the acting in this is superb.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody is like top notch, firing on all cylinders, especially our man, Mr. Robin Williams. Um, man, this is probably my like standout performance for him. I think in anything I've seen, maybe even.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. There's
he's
some things to
he's
back
so
that up.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he won an award for it, right?
Yeah, he
Um,
won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor.
yeah. Man, every scene where he was involved, like I was gonna say when he's like doing the therapist stuff with Will, but even the stuff between him and his buddy Lambo, like just so well done. Um, you get a little bit of a little bit of Robin Williams humor in there, but it's not much. And I think for me, that's why I feel so passionate about how well he did acting in this film. Um, because this really was one of the one of his performances where I did not see a whole lot of the lighthearted Robin Williams come through. This
Right.
was
Yeah.
very much a lot of like somber, realistic acting. So again, I don't want to gush on it too much, but he did a fantastic job.
Yep.
Uh
I agree.
Matt Damon did a fantastic job as well. Playing a confused, kid, basically trying to be a tough ass with the rest of his buddies, but secretly being a genius and uh not sure where he fits in life. Um, just he did a good job as well being unlikable and likable, at times.
Mm-hmm.
Uh and his ability to play off of Robin Williams and vice versa again was I think a highlight in this film. There's a few scenes where it gets pretty intense as far as like the tension in the room, and it was very believable, very engrossing. Like
Yeah.
when those scenes would happen, I was leaning in like, oh man, what's happening here, kind of stuff. So yeah, they did a great job on screen together. Ben Affleck with Matt Damon. I can see the chemistry there that they kind of have throughout other films that they've been in together.
Well, I mean,
Being
they
able to.
grew up as childhood friends. So that,
Oh, did they really? I didn't
yeah.
know that.
Yep.
Okay, I always thought it was like a later in life friendship. Um, Interesting, but yeah, it shows through in the film as well. Even like I think the part where Ben Affleck is at, you know, Matt Damon's house trying to get
Mm-hmm.
him to come out, and he realizes he packed up and left, and there's that little bit of him kind of like smiling to himself, even though it's just kind of a sad moment for him, but he's like proud of what
Right. In which
Matt
she had
Damon
that
did.
little talk earlier with him explaining that's that those 10 seconds are the happiest part of his day.
Right. So uh so even then you can kind of see like the relationship there bleeding through the acting.
Yeah.
Um Fantastic job as well. I might say Lambo, is it Skarsgård
Mm-hmm.
is maybe the weakest of the actors in the group. I felt but still did a good job.
I mean, I
Um,
think he played the part he was supposed to.
I think so too. I just yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not acting, maybe it's just likability of the character,
Right.
and how he fits through it all. But yeah, again, just the acting in this film is top notch. Uh,
Agreed.
very much so. Uh, so yeah, the story I thought was great. It definitely goes into the complexities of the human mind, especially that of one who was abused as a child, and you kind of learn that throughout the film.
Yeah.
Um, at first, I wasn't sure how I felt about the film when it was basically focusing on Will and his friends and their Boston accents and how they were kind of dicks to people and starting fights. And
Right.
I was like, okay, I don't know, I don't know about this. But once the human aspect of it all and the uh ability for them to show their feelings and their flaws and everything, I think that's when the movie really starts to shine. The
Yeah.
story I thought was fantastic. Again, showing the vulnerability of humans and how our minds put up walls and safety nets that it thinks it's helping us,
Mhm.
but really at a detriment. Um, and and it's interesting too how it also kind of shows that there are people in this world uh, who are good at their profession and in it for the right reasons. And where I'm going with that is like Robin Williams is the only one who actually sticks through it with Will. Whereas these other prestigious folks, as soon as they're annoyed, um, that they can't instantly like crack Will, they want out kind of thing.
Right.
So I guess where I'm going is that, it really emphasizes that like Robin Williams' character's in it for the right reasons. He sees, the damaged soul that is Will and wants to help, not looking at it as like this is a pain in the ass. I don't want any part of it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so that's really well done. The the relationship, like the love story side of it, I thought was pretty well done as well. Um, you know, uh, how complex it is again of like falling for somebody, but then making assumptions on how things are supposed to play out and letting that overrule you, and maybe what's working, kind of thing. And again, Robin Williams comes in and saves the day with his logic. And I took notes even of like a couple of the scenes where like during the therapies where like one of them that really stuck out is Robin talking about his wife and how what made their relationship the best were the imperfections, not the
Mhm.
perfect days, like his wife farting and waking herself up in night,
Right.
and then him taking blame for it kind of thing. Like that was great as well. Like there's just so many good morals, I guess, you can learn from this film, as well. Uh, so yeah, it's I could gush on this film for a while. There's a lot of good stuff to it. A lot of good takeaways and it's a good watch as well.
Good.
Yeah, the music in it, I don't know that it was good or bad. I didn't really take notice of it. I think because I was so engrossed in the story and the acting.
Mhm.
Um, so can't really speak to that much. Same with the filmography. I felt like it worked. But again, I think the acting and the story just kind of trump everything else in this film, um, and how well it was done. So yeah, so that's really what I wanted to talk about is just that I thought this was an endearing story. It was a relatable story. It was a believable story. I think it's a story that a lot of people could relate to. Maybe not from the idea of being an abused orphan and growing up through that, or being in Boston or anything like that, but being kind of broken and finding out that that's okay, and finding yourself in life. So, yeah, great film. Wish I would have watched it a lot sooner.
Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. You have anything else you wanna add?
I don't think so. No, I just again a lot of my notes were just gushing over a lot of the scenes Robin Williams did that were just fantastic. I guess just to call out like Robin Williams choking, well maybe not choking, but grabbing Will by the neck.
Oh my god.
Uh man, the intensity of
Yes,
that,
yes. That is
the
one of the
emotion.
things that has stuck with me the most. Just like honestly, that whole quote, the anger, the passion, like all of it. He's like, if you ever
Mhm.
disrespect my wife again, I will fucking end you. Or I
Right.
will, I don't think he's has the F word in there, but I will end
Right,
you.
but
Like it's
basically,
just
yeah.
it's not I will kill you, I will end you. Like I just love how that is phrased.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
it hits a little bit harder, which I think, as you mentioned, the story, the way everything is structured, I don't feel like there's any scene that shouldn't be there. I feel like everything kind of coalesces together into a very, very good film, which speaks to the writing of this movie, which this movie was written by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Um,
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
yeah, so the way that came together and this movie came together and they picked up Robin Williams and his performance was there's so many solid performances here. Even Ben Affleck got his brother Casey to join the film. Um, so just all that stuff comes together good, and like you can tell it's a good story because they don't have to do a lot of like crazy creative shots. A lot of this movie is purely driven on dialogue and close-ups, and I feel like they nailed it. Like this is a movie that should be studied and mimicked for that purpose alone.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is fair.
Yeah.
As you were speaking about the writing, one of the other scenes that I hadn't mentioned, but I think is worth calling out was the discussion around Lambo wanting to get Matt Damon or Will, I should say. I'm switching between actors' names too much.
It's fine. Yeah.
But wanting to get him into a job sooner than later, and how he's saying like, all these popular people who were successful, followed these steps and they got there. And how Robin Williams says, "Well, have you ever heard of, the Unabomber?"
Hmm.
And or Ted it was Ted Kaczynski or whatever. And
Right.
uh like that was just a witty like way. And it almost like, to me, I'm not witty like that on my toes.
Oh no,
So when
no.
I see things like that, I'm like, "Oh shit, like that
Yeah,
was
I'm
really
definitely
well
not.
done."
Yeah, yeah,
So I really appreciated that as well.
yeah. I'm definitely not quick-witted myself, but yeah, there's so many good things about how they handled some of those interactions and like, especially with like Lambo kind of just assuming that Sean feels like a lesser man because doesn't have the same acolytes that he does and stuff like that, which
Mhm.
that's just his personality. And I feel like Skarsgård did a great job of portraying someone who has that kind of mentality. And, obviously him using Will is more of what's happening than him helping Will,
Right.
where it's a different relationship with Sean and Will. So I really feel like they did such a good job. Like I feel like if you're a therapist, you probably love this movie, but I don't know for sure. I feel like this movie would definitely be something that like they at least try and strive for that type of interaction with people to try and help, but I don't know for sure. I'm
Right.
hoping they would. But yeah, another thing like you have Ron. Well, I guess Sean's in here, and you know all the people Will met with previously. He instantly sized them up and pushed all the right buttons to get them to essentially flip out, which he's notorious for doing that. And even the
Mhm.
guy at the Harvard bar, he you know, just rips right into him, quoting like all these different people and things and all the different studies and stuff that he hasn't gotten to. And, just tears them apart because he knows so much more. But everything that guy was doing is exactly what Will is doing. He just has more information to pull from.
Right.
And then you get to the point where Sean is talking to him and he's like, you have all these facts in your heads, but do you know what, the Sistine Chapel smells like? Stuff like that he doesn't have the experience. He has a lot of the knowledge from the books and things he read, which is great, but he doesn't have the experiences and maturity to realize that.
Right.
So that's another aspect of things with this movie. Like there's so many layers to this movie that you mentioned like waiting that long to see this movie. I feel like the same thing, except I haven't seen this movie in a few years. And like, why have I waited so long to rewatch this movie? Um,
Yeah.
because I definitely have different points of view on it from the first time, second time, and now watching it. Um, that it's just a completely different perspective for me. Um, there was a lot of times where I sided with Matt Damon's character and how Will went through all this stuff. And now I'm older, I'm analyzing things from Sean's side a little bit more, and it's just interesting when I can go back and revisit a movie and get different things from it. And this is definitely one of those movies that I feel does that, and it should be one that's on my rotation a little bit more frequently than it was.
Yeah. No, I agree, and it's, I guess, even more of a testament to you saying Matt Damon and Ben Affleck wrote this.
Hmm.
Um, they were approximately like 26, 25 when they did this.
Yeah, this wasn't
Um,
their first movie. Like they've been acting and stuff previous to this, but yeah, this was
right, but
the
I mean, like
first.
the maturity of the
Hmm.
writing,
Oh yeah.
I think is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I like how everything comes together and like, Will and Sean when they have so many good interactions in this movie, and it kind of starts off like a chess game where they're going back and forth trying to size each other up and make different moves and see what lands, what doesn't. It's just so good. And then you
Mhm,
also have Minnie Driver in here. I think she was a great love interest like you touched upon. Obviously compelling enough to have an audience like understand where Will is looking to, you know, follow his heart a little bit more and risk, the good job and all that stuff to actually have something that he knows will make him happy.
mhm.
Um, he has to see about a girl, which great line as well.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and on top of that as well, the whole, "It's not your fault" thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
Right.
know that's been used a couple times, like Family Guy, and there's a few others that I can think of, but, like, it's interesting too to see that that's where that originated from.
Right. Yep. But yeah, I think I can keep gushing about this movie, like you said. I do feel like obviously Sean, I don't know what he saw. Like I could have easily seen him if he wasn't like as persistent as he was, just being like one of the others and being like, yeah, forget this kid. Um, but I think their first interaction and how that played out, there was enough, like they had a similar, um, you know, background in some ways, but not others. And then like he even acknowledges when they're sitting on the bench is like, you know, do I know your life? Can I just read Oliver Twist and assume that's how you are and who you are? Um,
Right.
Kind of opening up the aspect of like no one can ever really truly understand what someone has gone through and the way they think and all that stuff. No matter how much there might be things you can draw upon that are similar, you can't 100% do that. It's just, I think, impossible.
Right.
So I love how this movie kind of drew that out and kind of put it in people's faces a little bit. And then I guess the other things I want to kind of call it, obviously I mentioned Robin Williams. He got Best Actor in Supporting Role. Matt Damon got Best Actor for Leading Role. This just had so many good awards, and I think it truly earned them. And I think that's really all I have for the movie. Now, I do have a few other things that I kind of want to just talk to you about around this. Like, this movie really has Will kind of figure out, like, obviously, he has a lot of defensive mechanisms. Um, he's always been kind of abandoned and he has that fear of abandonment. So he puts up these walls. Do you ever feel like you have that at all?
Like, a fear of
Like some
abandonment
defensive, not fear of
or
abandonment,
defensive
but
stuff?
more of some of the defensive mechanisms. I know I do.
Uh, hmm. I think, I mean, I would I would assume that I do. But I also know, like, I don't know that it's necessarily defensive mechanisms on my end so much as it is like overutilization of things, if
Mm,
that makes sense, right? So like, one of the things like I'm working on myself is I'm a people pleaser. So it's not
yes.
necessarily like a defense mechanism. It's more of a I guess the other side, right? Like I'm putting myself out there too much.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I do suffer from something like that, but I don't yeah, I don't know if it's more on the defensive side than it is the offensive
Hmm.
side, I guess. But you say you do.
Yeah. I mean, even what you just said, I feel like I have tendencies for that as well. I know I also tend to, I don't know, like I don't ever like to be singled out when something is done good, you know? I'd rather,
Mhm.
like, if I'm on a team, I want the team to be called out. I don't need to be awarded anything or, hyped up, essentially. I'm more like, let's just keep moving. Let's get this done type mentality. And ultimately, I really prefer feedback because that's how I can improve and become better. That's one of the things that
Interesting.
like comes into the people pleasing thing as well. And I think that that's a little bit coming from my relationship with my father. Um,
Okay.
where I don't feel like I've ever done anything that's good enough to meet his standards, or like I don't think I can recall a time where I've had him say I'm proud of you or something like that. We just don't
Huh.
have that type of relationship where we talk. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. It's interesting that you say not to make this a therapy
Hmm.
podcast, but like interesting that you went that route of not wanting the praise, right? I would have
Right.
thought if you didn't receive it, you would want it more, in other ways.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but I
think
guess it
I
makes
would
sense
love my
because
dad's, but I don't need it from other people. That's I
right,
think
yeah,
what
yeah.
pushed me, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. Cause like I myself, like I'm both like if it's successful as a team that I'm part of, like I
Hmm.
want to hear that the team did well. But like if I went and did something, I would like to also hear like that I did a good job.
Okay.
I like that as like an affirmation that I'm doing things right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean I feel like I did have that as a kid, so maybe it does, align that way of, whatever you're used to is what you prefer.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. It
mm,
also, I guess, leaves like a lingering dread for me as well. It's like, because I'm always waiting for that other shoe to drop of like, what did I mess up and what am I going to get in trouble for
yeah,
now?
yeah, I hear that. I also am with that, but not. It's weird. Like you and I've talked before. Like,
Hmm.
I have like almost two personalities. I have my like professional personality, and then I have
Right.
my personal. And in my professional side, I feel like I'm a well-rounded person. Like I don't have many like flaws when it goes that way, or quirks, I should say. But in my
Right.
personal side of the house, I'm a mess. With that kind of stuff, right? Like I said, I'm a people pleaser. I'm always like fearful of the worst case scenario and
Yeah.
and just like waiting for the bad to happen rather than being optimistic kind of thing. Whereas in my professional career, it's the other way. Like I know things will work out. It's just getting through it. So it's
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Hmm. Nice.
Hmm.
Um, so thanks for
We should get
going
a
down that.
therapist on an extra.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be open to it.
Yeah. So if one of our
Um,
listeners are therapists, let us know.
so another one I have is like there's the conversation between Will and Minnie Driver's character where he's trying to explain to her in some way how he feels about his knowledge and
Mhm.
where it comes from and stuff like that. I'm curious for you. Do you understand like some of your strengths?
I do.
Yeah. Anything you want
I
to call
do.
out?
Sure, yeah, so I think it's one strength, but it manifests differently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's competitive nature.
Mm,
And it manifests differently in that like I want to like when I do something at work professionally, like I want it to be the best that I can output. And it's not necessarily competitive against others, it's competitive about against like what I think I'm capable of, if that
right.
makes sense.
Yeah, I get that.
Um, and then like in my personal life, like I've had a few friends tell me before that like they don't like playing games against me, whether it's sports or other things. Not and they don't say this like seriously, it's more tongue in cheek, but like that like I am naturally good at those things. And I think it's because like as I start to learn something, I learn with the intent of being good at it, not not necessarily like curious in that I want to learn it. It's more that I'm curious that I want to learn it so I can excel at it, if that makes sense. Um, so like for instance, for the listeners here, like I started playing disc golf a few months ago, and before I even went out and threw, I watched like countless amounts of YouTube videos on
Mm-hmm.
form, on like strategies, like all that stuff. And so when I finally got out to play, I still was an amateur and not that great, but like I had a lot of like stuff, and like the guy that I went with was surprised. He's like, "Man, you have a lot of this like stuff that amateurs struggle with at first, kind of pinned down already."
Right.
And so yeah, so I guess that's one of my like features, I guess, or strengths, is that like I always try to put my best foot forward and stack the cards in my favor if I can.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I follow you.
Now, you've known me for a while. Does that surprise you, or
No, I think you and I both have kind of similar tendencies around stuff like that, where and I call, like, that's one of the reasons why I have the name A Dangerous Mix for my, different things. I have tons of hobbies, and I usually throw myself into a hobby to the point where I'm learning a lot as much as I can because I have a thirst
Mhm,
for knowledge. And it's not always because I'm like trying to become the best at it. I enjoy it. It's
mhm,
something that is rewarding to me. Um, so yeah, I mean, I know you and I both have like different hobbies and interests and things like that. So definitely differences. Like I haven't done sports pretty much since high school.
mhm.
So yeah,
And I haven't done sports as a kid. It's this is an adult thing, so
yeah,
yeah, it's funny.
yeah, cool. Yeah, I feel like my strengths, geez, like in general, I feel pretty dumb for a majority of things, but I do have my specialties that I'm a tinkerer. I I'm a person who likes to take things apart, figure them out,
Mm,
and kind of reverse engineer them.
yep.
Um, I've had that. I want to say I got it from my dad because he used to do the same thing with electronics and things, but mine evolved into computers and software and all that stuff to kind of paint the picture.
Right. Yeah.
So
I'm the same way. I have that tinkerer, mindset.
yeah,
And I think that's why you and I do so well in the
hmm,
technology space, right? Is
right,
because we like to understand why we're doing stuff, not just do it.
yep,
Um, so that's very cool.
yeah, very nice. And then one last little kind of side bit is comfort zones. One of the things Will kind of went through in this movie is, he's got his boys. Uh, he kind of found what he considers a home, and it's not until he's pushed by either LeBeau or Sean to make changes. Obviously, he ended up siding more with Sean, um, but he could have also chosen a path where he did neither. Um, do you have comfort zones and feel like you've stepped out of them enough?
100% I do.
Yeah.
And man, the timing.
Hmm.
So some of this, so I don't think our listeners do, but like I had some life events happen end of last year, and then also turning 40 recently,
Mm,
and having a little bit of a midlife crisis, I would call it. Is that I like look back, and there are times in life where I did step out of my comfort zone, and I feel like that was me living my life.
right.
And then there was parts where either due to necessity or or whatever, just comfort, I just stagnated, right?
Yeah.
And I'm realizing that I need to start getting back out of that comfort zone area. And so that's something I'm trying to figure out, like how I can best do this based on like where I'm at in life and everything like that.
Yeah.
Um, like pre-COVID and stuff, I made a pact to myself that I was going to start visiting all the states. And I made it to like 4 or 5. Then COVID hit, and then I just kind of was like, nope, public places. I'm gonna stay away from those.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I
Stupid COVID.
stagnated, you know,
Yep.
and but I want to get back out of that. I want to start visiting places again, and living life to the fullest because I am at 40, and
Mm-hmm.
who knows how
Life
long
is
I have
short.
where I can keep doing that. So
Right. And that,
Yeah.
gosh, I think about that stuff, which, you know, I definitely too have comfort zones and don't like change that much. Um, but I have taken some pretty risky things
Yeah.
within the past few years that I feel have stepped out of those comfort zones.
I'd
And
say so.
I know I have more decisions coming, but I you say the whole getting out there while you're young type thing, like, gosh, retirement is so backwards. Like
I know.
working until you're 65 or whatever. Gosh, I don't want to wait till then. I don't know if
I
I'll reach
know.
then.
That was a real bummer for me that day that we got
Yeah,
asked that question about
yeah,
retirement.
yep,
Yeah, that was a face your mortality
yep,
kind of day, and
for
I did
sure.
not appreciate that.
Nope, same.
Uh,
I've
yep.
never like I've worked a few places and that has never come up as a thing. So
Yeah, that was the second time it's come up for me, but
mm,
that was the first time it like hit me like
yeah,
it did. Uh yeah. So, yeah, let's commit to getting out there, Ned. Getting out of our comfort zone.
yeah. Let's push each other to get out there and go see movies.
Absolutely. Yeah. That sounds pretty comfortable.
Indeed. All right, sir. Do you have anything else you would like to add?
I don't think so. Other than if you've not seen this movie, you should.
Oh my God, yes.
Which should lead to our scores, I guess.
Yes, yes. Would you like to go
Yeah.
first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I gave this one a 5 out of 5.
Mm,
Yeah, it was perfect in my mind. Yeah, I
yeah.
don't I've gushed enough.
Yep.
What about you?
I, going into this, I had it at like a 4.5 out of 5, but
Uh-huh.
after watching it this time, it's a 5. I've moved
Ned,
it up to a 5.
get out of your comfort zone and join me in the fives.
Yep, it's a 5. So,
Awesome.
yep.
Yeah,
Great.
it's very good. It's definitely gonna get back into my rotation.
Good.
This was a film when I first also I didn't touch on this, but like again, going back to what I was saying about like life events and stuff.
Mhm.
w- It started getting into certain like heavy topics. I'm like, oh God, this is gonna trigger me and I'm gonna I'm gonna
Yeah.
have a bad time. But it didn't. It did the opposite. In fact, like
Good.
it yeah, it did more uplifting in watching and watching how all this progresses through the film. And yeah, so I mean, this might be a film that I watch to remind me, to get out of those slumps and stuff, when they inevitably happen again. So,
Yeah, I think
um,
that's one of the great things about this movie. It walks kind of a very fine line and could easily slip into that, but
mhm,
they keep it fairly grounded. They're honest with it and real with it.
right,
So,
agreed,
very nice. Well, I'm happy to hear you enjoyed it, sir.
absolutely. I enjoyed it tremendously.
Good. Good. All right. Well, let's talk next recommendation. Let's go with something maybe a little bit more upbeat, maybe action packed. Let's go with Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Okay, I'm into that.
You know much about it?
I know it's something to do with like two secret agents being married
Mm-hmm.
and being in different potentially different agencies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's all I know.
Okay. Cool. Well, we'll check that out 2 episodes from now. And that's gonna wrap us up here. Thanks for joining. We are on Threads and Facebook at To The Movies Pod. We're also on YouTube at The Movies Pod. And Joe, thanks for joining me with that
Yeah,
Will Hunting.
yeah, thanks for dragging me to that therapy session.
No problem, man. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.